What do you think of these, Al? This
tomb I worked in 1998 for a week, and my job, a very important job, was fish specieing, which meant that I had to go from one room to the next room. We'll be in the desert in about 50 yards, mate.
Yeah? Seriously?
Yeah.
It's like, how could you have the technology real how it's built perfect?
Here we go, there's the desert. There you go. And,
wow.
And the step pyramid over here when you get to
outside this one we go to control because tickets.
Yeah, we get tickets. Yeah, let's get tickets. There you go.
Yeah. You go to this.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
You do. You're better than our dogs.
Yeah. Here we have Mereruka again, and there's hieroglyphs. They mention he's an inspector of the prophets. He's a hereditary prince and a noble. He's also, it's a little bit complicated, master of the secrets of the king. Also inspector of the estates. He was a very powerful man. And this was his wife, Sechet. Again, 6th dynasty.
Fantastic.
I'll show you the false door.
Okay. What's your name?
Me, Steve.
Dave?
Oh. Right, okay.
School here, yeah.
It's a school, is it?
Yeah, see, he's the master. He's hitting him with a stick.
A bit like you at school, father.
Yeah. And even gives you the names of the people. You're a bad lad. Smack. Smack.
Was it Aldo
Yeah.
Files?
Something along those lines. Yes. Wow. Okay, do you remember, I mentioned, was it Nicholas? I mentioned on the Nile where we were sitting, the birds, and I'd show you them in the tomb.
Yes.
When we were sat this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there they are.
Yeah, they're all railings, aren't they?
Wow. And that's a serdab where the statue of the man, Mereruka, would be behind it.
So you can look at him.
But of course it's gone thousands of years ago.
Is it in your backpack?
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, yeah. We found something modified.
The false door of Mereruka.
Hang on.
Now, Mereruka will be buried 90 feet below, and he would come up and come out of this door to eat food with the priest and his family on feast days.
So there'll be offerings there.
Offerings here, and he will come out of that door and eat with his family and the priest,
Wow.
and then he will return back to the next world, the netherworld.
The bloody... You can't even get the flipping fag paper between the flipping stones again. It's awesome.
Yeah, the actual...
Three.
Here's a statue of Mereruka as part of his false door, and here's his name, Mereruka. And he was justified before the great God, sole companion of the king, Herihebet, chief lector priest, Iripar Hetiar, hereditary noble and prince, inspector of the prophets, and all the major titles. He was vizier
Cheesemonger?
of Tete, King Tete, the first king of the 6th dynasty.
It's beautiful.
aqui, bem tranquilinho.
$3. Não é isso? Não é 32? Pensa, 32, é isso aí.
So I'm down at about 3 foot here, which sciatica is brilliant.
Daughter? That's very nice. This is the king, this is my daughter. I'll come on ahead.
Dat is van Sudan.
Ja, ze bezet van Sudan. Maar volgens de boetkanaal voor de nacht. Standaard.
Come on now! Yeah, boy!
Right, I'm going to take a picture of this, Nick. Faster, Nick.
Your father waiting for you.
Oh, here it is. 1, 2, 3, go.
Fantastic workmanship. You can see the actual cotton that's wound round.
So spinning cotton.
So yeah, spinning cotton, yeah. And this, the wings of the quail chick. Fantastic stuff. And there's the name again. Car, Gem, Ne.
So what do you think of these, Al?
This,
this?
this tomb I worked in 1998 for a week, and my job, a very important job, was fish specieing, which meant that I had to go from one room to the next room, find a nice fish and see if I could find the same one in another room. Now after 3 hours, my God, I was knackered. And she let me have the afternoon off, Dr. Harper, so I could have a rest. It was so hard working as an archaeologist. Here though we have the vizier Kar Gemne. He was a vizier of the Pharaoh Teti, first king of the 6th dynasty. Look at the wonderful carving here.
So what's a vizier?
Vizier is Prime Minister,
Okay.
the chief officer, the man who run the country for the Pharaoh. And of course you see how close he is to Teti's pyramid to have such an important tomb. And he was also had another important job, overseer of the duck pond. It's obvious, you know,
Nothing's changed.
overseer of the duck pond, Kargemne.
So what was so important about the duck pond?
Eating. You
To
know,
eat?
but they like, yeah, they like a goose or a duck, you know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah, so it was a big number.
Like Versailles, almost. Did they all have gout?
I mean, highly probable, yeah. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful days. I got that one right, didn't I? No, it's not. What is this? Of Zosa. My favourite pyramid is the pyramid of Uzakaf, the first king of the 5th dynasty. I entered this pyramid in 1987 and was chased out by a flock of pigeons. Scared shitless.
Wait till you see this. 1926 salió de Saqqara 2001 vuelto. 75 años viviendo aquí, haciendo restauraciones que él dijo mismo en
Hey, it's me. It's been mostly my dad so far. But wait for this. Oh damn. There we go. Step pyramid. Tell you what, walking backwards ain't easy. Day one. Superb. Superb. 1, 2, 3.
The pyramid of Necheriket Djoser, 3rd dynasty pharaoh, the oldest freestanding stone building on the planet. I first entered here in 1993 when I was given the tickets to go in myself. The great Geoffrey Martin arranged this for me. In those days there was no lighting and there was no boards on the floor. Today we're going to enter again to see how it's improved, because there's been a lot of work, not all of it good.
Well, let me go ahead here.
Going to fall out on me. That's what happened, but there was about 20 of them. They've actually got to the burial chamber now. It'd be very, very, very unsafe. But this is the entrance to my favourite pyramid. So what's this, 5th dynasty? This is first king of the 5th dynasty, Uzakaf. As you can see, they're cleaning up the entrance now and they're excavating it. It's not safe, of course, but this is the entrance of my favourite pyramid. You can see the crack in the lintel there. Mind you, it has a steel crossbar there. Very dangerous, but I crawled in about 50 yards and then got chased out by pigeons. My first time in the Serapeum was 1979, when in those days, I believe it's paved now, in those days it was a dangerous place to go. So I'm looking forward to going back in. I've not been in since 1996. The burials of the Apis bull.
Apis bull, do you mean bull?
Yeah, that's what I said.
The Apis Westerman.
Yeah. That, you've moved it, haven't you? That was here in 1979. Yeah.
Look here, sarcophagus. Sarcophagus is
Okay. Yes, of course. Thank you. Go ahead and look at it. Find some hieroglyphs.
Serapeum.
See, none of this was here. I had to trip up in the dark. Here we go.
That's for previous sins, Father.
There we go. Let's have a look. Glasses. Just let me get my glasses.
same thing, yeah? Here is it all. Look here, the cow, Abyss. The toro. Look here, the toro. This toro little cow.
And how much does this weigh?
This is all 150 tons.
150 tons.
This is all. This is granito. This is granito from Aswan.
Granite from Aswan.
Yeah. Look here. This is after this is basalt from Sudan. Look here. This is sarcophagus. This is all one. This is all 2 meter, 3 meter. Come out of here. Look here. This the side 2 meter. Look here, 3 meter. Look here, this all polish. It's finished. Okay. I want to save my soul.
Good evening and welcome. We are the Amphora Annals, and this is day 2 of Cairo. Day 1 technically doesn't care, that doesn't matter even, because it's mostly travelling. But day 2 is the day where we've done most of our... Phones on silent, please, Father. When we've done most of our sightseeing, and we've got another 2 days to go, so absolutely buzzing. But yes, we are in beautiful Cairo. I know you can't really see an awful lot of it behind us, but we've been driving around all day. Today's been a Saqqara day. And for me, my first time in Cairo, it's been absolutely sensational. Now, my background with Egypt, obviously with Aldo Senior here being an Egyptologist, I visited Luxor twice when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved Luxor, but that's a village compared to this. Also, I visited Dahab a few years ago with my good friend Carl Peters. Shout out to Carl Peters of Common Ground, Altrincham. I absolutely love Egypt, but this is my first time back for a long time in one of the major cities, so I'm buzzing to be back. And Cairo is eye-opening, very eye-opening, mind-blowing. So we arrived around about this time yesterday, so 5 or 6 o'clock. So we got a taxi straight from Cairo airport to our hotel, the El-Gezirah, which is the Sofitel El-Gezirah, which is in the island of Zamalek, and it's fair to say that was the most hair-raising and wild taxi journey I've ever been on. I mean, there's footage which you'll see, which as part of the edit, which will hopefully give some sort of gravitas to how utterly mental the traffic was. But there we go. But I'll let you make your own minds up. So today we visit Saqqara. Father, would you like to take it away? Where did we go?
Where did we go? Well, we started off with Teti's Pyramid. Firstly, we visited the Pyramid of Teti, which is one of my favourite pyramids, which was, everybody enjoyed going in there. I didn't, because I'm becoming an old man these days, but I've been in many, many times. Then we visited Meluka and Kargemni, two viziers of the 6th dynasty. Then we went in Naika Isesi, which was another high official of the 6th dynasty, which has only recently been opened. Then we moved off to the tomb of Tai, which is one of my late wife's favourite tombs. Very handsome man. We visited there. Then the Serapeum, which was hard work, but everybody seemed to enjoy it. Then we moved on to Tal Hotep, which is an excellent tomb. Wonderful reliefs in it. Spent some time there. Then we moved on. Are you keeping with me? Then we moved on to Djoser's Pyramid. Now, I've been in there. I was in there in 1993. I've not been in since, but now it's like a 5-star Sheraton now. I mean, it's not like it was in the old days, but we still went in, saw the king's burial sarcophagus, explained a few things, enjoyed it immensely. Came out of there, and then, are you still following? Then we went round towards the tomb of Mehu and a number of Unus's kings. Sadly, Unus for you Egyptophiles wasn't open, and we weren't allowed to go to Horemheb, which I worked on many years ago.
Was that the man with the AK-47?
That was the man. Yes, I'll say no more.
Right. Yes.
But that wasn't very good on their behalf. But it was a full day. I think we did about 6 miles. The people with me are used to walking that in the morning. For me, it was demanding, to say the least. But yeah, we've got plenty here, plenty to see, plenty of good photographs, and a real good time. So that was my part of the day.
Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. But for me, the absolute number one experience was Teti's Pyramid. That was my first pyramid. It was wonderful. I don't know. I'm not particularly claustrophobic. I just don't particularly like huge amounts of rock above my head. I mean, that's just human nature, I suppose. But dived straight in there, went down with a little bit of sciatica. It was a bit challenging. I know. It was a little bit challenging, but got down there, absolutely fantastic. Good. It was great to be in there. A little bit humid, but not as humid as I was expecting. I mean, I imagine the Great Pyramids and bigger pyramids might be a little bit more like that. But for me, I loved it.
Have you noticed I'm drinking, by the way?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. The Serapeum was fantastic. I know that the couple that were with really enjoyed that a lot. But it was also, for me, it was a little bit of the childhood. Seeing the hieroglyphics again. You can look at as many pictures as you like of hieroglyphics and go, oh yeah, that's pretty, that's interesting. But when you actually see it with your own eyes and see the texture and the intricacy at which they've been carved, but also the colour. Now a lot of the colour remains.
Yes, it does.
But okay, there might be a little touch up occasionally, but it was the colour that just absolutely blew my mind. And you see it again, it brings back all these memories. And I think it's like most things in life. Other than maybe an earthquake, you've got to really experience it with your own eyes and to really know how it feels. And I would say that about Egypt.
But you need a good guide.
But you need a good guide.
And I'm not cheap.
He's not. But anyway, yeah, so absolutely fantastic first day. Okay, right, so I suppose it would be rude of us to be in Cairo and not to drink some Egyptian wine. So here we go, we're actually going to do an Egyptian wine tasting now, and we'll talk you through it. And we try to pick some grape varieties that you don't really see, well, you don't see in, I suppose, the West or in Europe. So there's a lot of blends that I was looking through the wine list before, and I'll post a picture of the wine list so you can get an idea of costs and you can get an idea of the grape varieties involved. But there was quite a few wines that had a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon, a little bit of Syrah, a little bit of Merlot in there, or Viognier if we're talking white, or Vermentino. And these are grapes I actually wanted to stay away from. I think we're coming all this way to drink some wine and also have a few beers, but I was kind of, well, no, let's try some of the local plonk. Now, in terms of Egyptian wine, my old man here, he was telling me years ago that it wasn't really worth drinking, but I would say in the last 10 years or so, they've really come on leaps and bounds, and who knows where they'll be in the next 20 or 30 years, because as we all know, tourism in this country is absolutely incredible, and they're pandering to a market, I suppose. Not pandering, that seems a bit kind of pedantic, but they kind of do what they need to get people drinking their wine. Now, looking through the wine list before, there was a lot of French, there was a little hint of Italian and bits and bobs from around the world, but I thought, no, let's do some Egyptian. So here we are drinking the 365 white Sultane Blanche. That is how it's said on the menu, so that is the way I'm going to say it. 11.5%, nice and easy. The reason I went for it, Sultane Blanche, to me sounds like white sultans, which sounds, sultanas even, or raisins. Yeah. That sounds to me. Do you like music?
I arranged
music in the background. This is especially here for the Amphora Annals. But this to me sounds like Muscat. Now Muscat, as we know, you've heard us talk 1,000 times about it, so we won't go back into it again. Cleopatra, and the favourites of the ancient Greeks and so on and so forth. We're not going to go into it so much, but that's why I went with this one, because it doesn't say Muscat or Zibibo, it says Sultane Blanche. So I wanted to see, is it like a Muscat? So
he's out on a limb here. It's his expert
I know, yeah,
tongue.
It's not my expert tongue in the slightest. I've got to say, it's very aromatic. It reminds me a little bit more of Viognier than it does a Muscat, I have to be honest. It's a bit more floral, not quite as peachy. It smells really nice though. It actually smells quite salty. It smells almost like there's some oak. Now, I'm 99.9% certain there is absolutely no oak in this wine, but it has got this kind of, there's no wood other than palm trees, I suppose, but it has got some sort of almost like minerality to it on the nose, but it is quite rich, not quite rich, it's quite floral, it's quite ripe. Now on the palate, bearing in mind I said it was 11.5%, that is light as you like. That reminds me of something like a
6 bottles.
Almost like
Sunday.
six bottles on a Sunday of English Bacchus. But no, that reminds me of almost like a Pinot Blanc style. But it's also got this kind of underlying perceived sweetness that you've heard us talk about, where you would say it's kind of like a peach or an apricot. Quite floral, not the most complex of wines, but completely and utterly acceptable. I
Ladies will
thoroughly appreciate that.
Ladies will love
Do you mean ladies?
ladies.
Lady Petrol, whatever it's called. Anyway.
All right.
But But I think that's a really, really nice wine. And considering I would say that's my first Egyptian wine, if it's not my first Egyptian, it's my first Egyptian in Egypt.
Right.
I think that's a really, really nice wine. And for 11.5%, I think it's lovely. That's really nice. You know, we know we don't really do wine reviews on this channel because, quite frankly, these people have spent a whole year making this wine, and we're not going to sit here and completely demolish their good work. I think that's an absolutely fabulous wine. That's really nice.
Well done,
really,
sir.
really nice.
I think
It's not, again, it's not a Burgundy, it's not an Acertico, it's not it's not a Rioja Blanco or something. It's just a nice, delicate, easy wine to go. Now, can we get it back home? Good question. I've not Googled it.
You can't.
And if it is available back home, I'm not overly sure if it'll have travelled that well. But next time you're out here, why not give it a try?
Well, so make sure you come.
Well, good. So what I'll do is a little bit later in the video, I'll post, if not after this actually, I'll post a picture of the wine list so you can get an idea of how much things cost and what you can get out of it. But anyway, yeah, ciao ciao. We'll see you on tomorrow's episode.
Take care.
See you in a bit.
God bless.
Bye. Holy shit!